Good afternoon, David.
Yes, good afternoon, David. Interesting goings on.
Ah, let me
We
get
have,
let me get face let me get
yeah.
Facebook going first.
For first time in quite a long time, I went down to the ground floor of the Death Star, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Glasgow, and I went to the newsagents and got myself the Sunday version of the National
Ah,
and gasped as I saw the headline, um, and I think without saying it any more, I think most of you know and realise that Hamza Yusuf has effectively thrown the towel in. Yeah. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to maybe discuss a wee bit of that today. Um, David has got some fantastic insights, as he normally does. I'll let David rabbit on a bit and just introduce a few interesting questions as he comes up. Yeah. Okay. So,
right. David, I
David.
know I've said this before, right? Now there's three main elements here, right? Now there is the cracks in the movement that I warned about from a truck for Denny on time.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course these cracks in the movement all came from within the SNP, you know. Let's no tell any lies about it. That's where they came from.
Hmm.
Certain people who'd got a wee bit of prominence during the independence referendum, at the end of the independence referendum, found themselves being irrelevant, so they started making a lot of noise, and fractures were put in the movement. I warned that if that happened and we didn't keep our discipline as a movement, then the unionists would put levers in and bust it open. But it turned out we'd done it ourselves. We put the cracks in the movement and didn't even bust it open. It was political opportunity that burst it open. And that political opportunity, that also came about because of fractures within the party. Now, there was a certain element within the party who were never happy with the Green SNP coalition and some of the policies, especially on equality, that were coming up. After all, Scotland is still small conservative C, even though it's a left-leaning society. I know that sounds daft, but politically it's true. So all this gender-based nonsense and things like that was seen as being coming for the Greens. But it wasn't nonsense, it was about equality. And anybody that doesn't believe that the person standing next to you has the same rights as you, then none of any rights whatsoever. Now, that particular section of the party wasn't happy with the Green Coalition. I mean, we had certain MSPs whose, of course, constituencies had interests which were being affected by Green policy. With the oil sector in the northeast, we've got a West Coast fishing. A lot of Green policies were going to interrupt with, was going to interfere with that stuff. So we had people who were unhappy with the Marine Party, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they influenced Mr. Yusuf. Mr. Yusuf in trying to maintain party unity in the way up in an election, which they are desperate to ensure that we don't get a majority in. Absolutely desperate. Now, that's where this political opportunism comes in. Now, Reid Ross had been playing this one, and he did it with Nicola Sturgeon and all. This is not the first vote of no confidence, but this is the first time that we're actually going to win one. This is the first time that we're actually going to win one. And that comes down to Green hypocrisy, actually. Topple the government because these two people are asked to leave office in order to keep stability up until the next election here in Scotland. And of course, the Greens and the SNP were going in different policy directions. the Greens were about to have a vote on whether they were going to stay in coalition with the SNP. You all right, David?
Yeah, I'm fine, mate. No worries.
So before the Greens had that vote, who was this? Taking action.
Mhm.
You know, he's taking action. They just called him in and tactlessly put an end to the coalition. What he should have said was, at the end of this term of Parliament, you know, it's over.
Yeah, looking at that practically, that would have worked much better. It looked it is a stooshy between two parties. Otherwise,
But
yeah,
it started off with Sushi within the party,
yeah,
and it goes back even further. And remember, there's a couple of fights going on within the party. We've had the young team take out at Westminster and a young team take out here. And the party's a different party from when you and I joined, David, when there was only
I
25,000 years.
yeah,
The party has evolved, and there's a big section in the party don't like the way it's went.
yeah.
Now, why did Toomser resign? It wasn't because he was going to be beholden to Ash Reagan. It was because he wasn't sure he was going to carry the vote of the SNP.
Yeah, what's the point of getting up, putting forward a policy if your own team are not going to vote with you? Yeah, it's just pointless, isn't it? You know.
But as I say, the whole point of wee Dougie and Anna's playing these stunts, will the SNP now have a plebiscite GE after all? It's what we want. We'll get to that. There's procedures that are going to be followed under the 1998 Scotland Act. But so where was I? Toomser's basically, he was resigning because he wasn't sure he was going to carry the votes to the likes of Kate Forbes, Fergus Ewan. He wasn't sure he was going to carry their votes. So actually, the Alpha Party and the demands wasn't going to make any difference. There was enemies within. There are people who don't like the way the parties went since it grew. But people in the party don't like the fact the party's moved to the left so far. No, because as we've all stated before, up until the 2014 general election, a referendum, the SNP was a broad church. And one of the reasons why they made great policy, social policy, was because it was a broad church. Now, I mean, Humser was getting a hard time in the press as well. I mean, he's been depicted as having been crap. Actually, he's been a fucking really great administrator. A great administrator. He averted public sector strikes here in Scotland. Got everybody round the table. Got them to accept what, just laying the table, this is what we've got, this is what we can offer. And this is what's going to have to be cut going down the fucking line to here.
That's right.
And he also explained to the councils and to public services how he could plug the gap by introducing a new tax band, which he did. So he's introduced, as an administrator, he's introduced a new tax, which has went down bloody well. He's averting public sector strikes. He's also pulled in the rogue councils who said they weren't going to play when it came to the council tax freeze. In fact, as you know yourself, we had Inverclyde in your own local council, Western Barnshire, write a letter to the Tory government pleading to be funded directly. Only to tell, fuck off, if you know read the 1998 Scotland Act, you're nothing to do with us.
Yeah, but don't forget that was after maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where the Westminster was saying, "Oh yeah, there's no problem. If there's any problem, we'll fund the councils in Scotland directly from here." And then for that to happen, these guys that run these councils are fucking idiots. They always have been fucking idiots, and I hope one or two are listening to me, because you haven't got a fucking clue of where you're going or what you're doing, right? Stick to cutting the grass, because that's all you're fit for, all right?
Right, we know your opinion on councils, okay.
I detest them. Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, so who was this following on in this song? I mean, the way he was being portrayed, as I say, as being useless, he was a good administrator.
Yeah.
A really good administrator.
Yeah.
Even when he was health secretary, he's not so great at justice, but health. I mean, they talk about. I mean, I've listened to Cole Hamilton today again on the tranny. We'll get a wee bit more of that in a minute. But I listened to Cole Hamilton on the radio today, and he's talking about people's interests. With
I thought you couldn't hear him. I
no
thought
being
you
able to get
couldn't
his
hear him.
Oh, listen, I can hear this one when I choose. It was wee Molly I couldn't hear. They just fucking fogged out with him. I just eyes fucking went all misty, ears all stuffed up.
Wee Willie Winky.
Wee Molly who? Wee Molly any? I just could not listen to that man. Anyway, Cole Hamilton saying people's priorities accused for they can't get GP appointments. I don't know where the fuck these people live. Yeah, I pick up Christ coffee. I'll pick up the phone to get a GP's appointment. But never mind that, he was a good administrator. No matter how he's been portrayed. A very good administrator.
Yeah.
And a compassionate man.
Yes.
You know.
And a bloody nice bloke as well.
Nice bloke.
But you know, we all know that the nice blokes in this world tend to get slapped about, and it's like it doesn't matter how good they are, they still get slapped about, you know. So.
But I mean, if we look at there's a pattern here, but we'll get back on track. But I want to explain a pattern here. The establishment attacks those they fear. Look what they did with Sam in case he come back.
Yeah.
Look what we did with Sturgeon to destroy our career and our image and record.
Yeah.
With Jim Summers on the radio, they trashing her and all.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about dinosaurs fighting back here. Trying to fight extinction.
Yeah.
No. And that's what this carry on with the Greens and the gender policy thing is. This is us old folk banging back against what the young folk want. You know.
Yeah.
But as I say, they attacked Salmon to make sure he couldn't come back. He didn't help himself right enough to see keeping his head down and maybe coming back a few years later. He just made mistake after mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why the Alpha Party's not going anywhere. Right, now, what do you might call it? So the splits in the party and in the movement got us to where we are today. The political opportunism in order to wreck the SNP's chance of getting a majority at this election, because remember, that's what this is all about. Without a majority at this Westminster election, and a reasonable sized majority, I don't mean 31 MPs, I mean 40 MPs. Without that sort of majority, Westminster's just going to ignore the SNP standing up saying, by the way, we've got a majority in the next Scottish election, it's going to be a plebiscite. They're just going to laugh. You know, but that's what this is about. They're shiting themselves. Prior to this election, the route map that Scotland's is going to take, they've been told. Deny another Section 30 order and we'll just stop using your rules and we'll hold Scottish plebiscite election. They've also been told by the Supreme Court the limitations of their claim to sovereignty. When the Supreme Court told us there is power at the ballot box. Although Westminster had the decision over a Section 30 order, they don't hold the decision over democracy, is what the Supreme Court was telling them. So if they don't let us use their democracy, we've told them we're going to use ours. They didn't like that. And that's why we are where we are today. And the political opportunism along that road. Well, we Dougie Ross, he thought a bit of fun. Voting in confidence in the First Minister, no biggie. Can always put another First Minister in place. The one thing, Anna Sarwar, I don't know what he was thinking. A vote of no confidence in the Scottish Government. I don't think that one's going to pass.
Yeah.
But even if it does, they don't want an election right now. Because the next Scottish election will be declared a plebiscite election based on the number of MPs we've got today. Which is more than 40.
Yeah.
A mandate which we gave them when we sent them down there. It was a mandate for another referendum. So, they have a mandate to give that, go ahead, have your plebiscite election. But what the establishment's trying to prevent here is the SNP getting a good sized majority doing that road at this election, and showing the SNP as being in meltdown and incapable of good governance. The lies about the state of the NHS and the big waiting list. David, how long did you have to wait to get what you needed?
About 3.5 nanoseconds.
How long did I have to wait to get what I needed, or my wife needed to get what she needed?
Literally, you're talking like a day, a few hours, something like that. Is that?
A phone call. Oh,
Yeah.
but that doesn't sound good. You better come in and see us.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's not, and to be honest with you, it's not as if I knew the surgeons or knew the doctor, right? It's just the mere fact of what was wrong with me. And they went, oh, that sounds serious, right? You better get in and we'll sort this, you know.
now
And that
you've
was
got to
it.
remember, folks, don't lose focus. The focus here is the reason why this is happening is because Humza clumsily dumped the Greens because a certain faction in the party wanted them to dump the Greens.
Yeah.
He was trying to show unity in the party coming up to a general election. The Greens were about to dump him anyway. So he was tactless in how he did it. And what we got is political opportunism for unionisms,
Mm-hmm.
for unionists who are shiting themselves.
Yeah.
They don't want this mandate going down to Westminster.
Yeah.
They don't want a majority of SNP MPs. And to portray the SNP as in meltdown. Now, actually, it's still administrating really well. The ministers have all been functioning well in their ministries.
Mm-hmm.
Public services are functioning well. The public were pretty well happy with almost everything except for a couple of these gender things, but that was because the press was misleading them. Same with the hate crime bill. You know, one of Ash Reagan's demands to give him as support was to protect girls and women's rights. Now, if I can remember correctly, did I know report that gender groups were being protected under the new Hate Speech Act? Or
Yeah.
Hate Act?
Yeah.
Did I know mention that it was a religious groups, gender groups, and age groups? Did I forget to mention that? So we are where we are, folks, and here's the process. We better go into process. Right, so you know why it's happened. Splits within the movement, splits within my own party, a political opportunism, and why the political opportunism, we weakened them, and why it is that they are so desperate to stop this majority of doing that road.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's working.
Listen, guys, you'll note that basically what I'm doing, I'm doing the nod and dog here. The reason is because David's got it encapsulated perfectly as to what's going on, and all I can do is do the nod and dog. What I read last night, literally, it turned my stomach initially, and it was when I got into David today, and we started discussing things through that. I thought, right, okay. We've got an image of it. We know how the jigsaw goes together, right? And at the moment, I can assure you, it's not great. It's not impossible, but it's not great. Okay.
Now, we better talk about process here. About feedback here. We better talk about process here. Okay, what happens now is we've got 28 days to appoint First Minister and have them supported by the Parliament.
Yeah, the process. Let's talk about that first.
Right.
The process is pretty clear regarding the Scotland Act and the way it goes.
I've got it here, David.
Yeah, go on. Get it
here. Let's see if we can put it up so that people can see it. I do have the Scotland Act to use.
To be honest with you, best idea is just an explanation. Most people will take the explanation on dead easy, I assure you. Go on, do it.
I know that, David, but just for the sake of it, so that people know I'm not talking pish, this is section 46 of Part A of Act 2 of the Scotland Act.
Yeah.
And this is the process that they have. Okay, so if one of the following events occurs, resignation of the First Minister, which is where we are, there's a 28-day period in which the Parliament's going to accept a new nomination for First Minister. Okay, so that 28-day period will start when the SNP select a leader and put that leader in front of the Parliament. Now, the Parliament is going to vote to accept that person as First Minister. They don't have to accept that person as First Minister if a majority of them don't find that acceptable. Where they go, split screen. If the majority of them don't find the person that's been put forward acceptable, well, that includes people within the SNP, remember it's a vote. The opposition parties can also put up prospective First Ministers. We've seen that when Nicola Sturgeon was elected First Minister in the Parliament. The opposition parties also put up candidates to be First Minister. They round the voting, Nicola Sturgeon won.
Yeah.
So whoever the SNP selected leader, and John Swinney is the first one who was hat in the ring, that person would need to be acceptable to the Parliament as well. They would need a majority vote to serve. Now, if they can't do that, and then with the opposition put up candidates and they can't get somebody selected, after that 28-day period, there needs to be an election. There must be an election. It must go back to the people.
Yeah. Okay.
So the question earlier was, would they hold this right now as a plebiscite election? I don't think it would be accepted.
Yeah.
Do they have the mandate? Aye. Would it be accepted? I'm not sure. I don't know who's all got hats in the ring at the moment. I know John Swinney's considering it. Now, John has been there before.
He's an honourable bloke, right? Everybody's got great regard for John Swinney, right?
He's an excellent administrator.
Yeah, even those that oppose him still look at him and go, yeah, he's a good guy, right? Okay. Is he First Minister material? I really don't know. I really don't know, David.
Well, we have to look at his evolution.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't that great at the first time.
Yeah.
When Alec was party leader and John was storming in and up here.
Yeah.
As a deputy, he didn't half learn well underneath Nicola Sturgeon. He came into his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he went to be the mild man of he went to be the mild man of politics to being a bit of a bloody hothead.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the First Ministers he stood in for, geez, he didn't have to more than you one.
Well, I remember the time when you had all the floods down in sort of like the southern part of Scotland, right? And I remember the famous phrase that came out of his mouth. He said, well, somebody, somewhere in that council, write a bloody check to get these people some help. You know, and that was it. And it was like 1,500 quid, wasn't it? That was actually going out, a useful amount of money that people had done to get their getting a dehumidifier to dry their walls out and all the rest of it. You know, all the basic stuff, right? And it was good the way he did that. It really, really made, yet again, a council that hasn't got a bloody clue look at themselves. Yeah.
Well, as I say, you know, John was a bit meek, but under Sturgeon, he really blossomed. He became, and he is a bloody great administrator. Does he have the panache to carry the people?
I like him.
I don't even know.
I like him. I do like him, but I don't know if John's a lovely bloke, but I just don't know if he's First Minister material. Yeah.
Well, as I say, he's considered throwing his hat in the rings. He's a big beast.
Yeah.
He would get a lot of packet. He would get a lot of backing because he's a good administrator. Would he win to go to the party? That would need to be seen if he stands. Now, I mean, there'll be other speculation. I see Helen put up that Neil Gray's name has been mentioned, my own MSP.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'll wait until we've got candidates in place, we get hustings going, we can hear them. You know. But what will happen is, as I say, the process is, once they're selected the leader, it goes in front of Parliament. The SNP should have enough votes to carry it. The interesting thing is the vote of no confidence in the Scottish Government next week. Can that be carried? If the Unions do that, it'd be a Pyrrhic victory, because what's happening is it's the Scottish election, the Greens have got wiped out. One of the interesting things that this whole Stushy has brought up, David, is the voters who go to the Greens, their 7 MSPs, remember they're all regional MSPs. First and foremost, these people were independent supporters and probably gave their second vote to the Greens. They were probably SNP voters that gave their second votes to the Greens. They ain't going to do that now.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Greens want an election right now. They might be feeling a wee bit hurt. But for being pushed because you were just about to leave anyway, what's the difference?
At the moment, this is daft. This is like boyfriend and girlfriend breaking up and both having a go at each other. You know, it's stupid, absolutely stupid.
The problem with Stephen Flynn, I see Peter saying Stephen Flynn. The problem with Stephen Flynn is then he would need to appoint somebody else to be First Minister.
Yeah.
And we've had that situation before, and it didn't work well. Because the person who was leader in the Scottish Parliament wasn't leading the party, so they were seen as second fiddle.
To be honest with you, it's like I sort of lean that way myself. If there was some way I could get Stephen Flynn cloned, it's like, yeah, get to it, right? Yeah, right there. I always think that Stephen Flynn's a very...
Now look at it this way, John and Stephen wear a very... Look at it this way, John and Stephen wear a very similar hairstyle.
True.
These guys have got short visits to the barber.
Aye.
So...
what do you want? Do you want the matte or the shiny?
Would you like to know that stuff?
Yeah.
But as I say, we are aware, but the process is important here. Could we find ourselves with a Scottish election by default? Aye.
Yeah. Imagine that.
If the new leader elected by the party, doesn't he? Can he carry the same MSP's votes in the Parliament? Then they're not get selected.
Stands back and takes a deep breath. Yeah, you know. Wow.
But as I say, the whole point of this, the whole point of the political opportunism, is because the state is shiting itself.
Yeah, but the problem is the political opportunism. It's almost like taking a run at 90 mile an hour on a road with a sharp corner and a 3,000-foot drop, right? And realizing you're not going to have enough braking power to stop you before you get into that corner. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. That's effectively what they're doing. We're going to find that these little silly men who are the what do you call cuckoos in the nest, right? They're going to suddenly find they fall off the edge of the world.
I don't know, David, but what I do know is that at this point in time, Labour don't want a Scottish election. The polling doesn't look good for them.
Yeah.
Although it does look better than it did the last time. The Tories definitely don't want a Scottish election. That's why
but let's look at it square in the face. Labour don't want an election in Scotland at all. They, because at the end of the day, it's like it's going to be, bad news. A general election in Scotland is just going to be bad news for Labour. They're not going to do well at all because of what Starmer has done over the past while. Do you agree?
Yes. Somebody's saying, but Dean, I know you're having a laugh with that, but bring back X. X damaged himself too much. That's why
I wish his character was totally and utterly untarnished, and you could get the guy back into power again, right? Because I'll tell you what, as a political animal, he was amazing.
Right, hold on. Apparently we've got four hats in the ring.
Is that?
Aye, here we go. Phil says that in the ring is Swinney, Forbes, Neil Gray, and Jenny Gilruth. Who are that lot? Forbes is definitely a non-runner for me.
Yeah, Neil Gray would be alright. Neil Gray would be all right. Yeah,
Neil, Neil and John would be the only two. I'd need to look into it. I'd need to hear what Jenny Gold's got to say for
yeah,
herself. But
yeah,
Forbes is of that faction of the party that was trying to slow it down. The
yeah.
party's evolving the same way politics evolves, and Kate's had her tip at it. No for me.
Well, David, they've all got their plus points and their minus points. Yeah.
No,
So
no, I don't see any endearing points in Kate. So apart from the fact
yeah,
she was a good finance minister, I
yeah,
don't rate her character at all.
yeah.
But Jenny Gilruth, as I say, I don't know really that much about her. But I'll tell you what, by the time we go live on Thursday, I'll know everything about
I
her.
hear
Which state
you.
she was born on, which school she went to,
Yeah.
what university she attended, what
Yes,
degree she's got.
where the mommy shops.
Labour's not going to
uh,
cash in the turmoil. It's no, as I say, I was very surprised that Labour decided to go for a vote of no confidence in the Scottish government. Totally
yeah,
surprised. No one doesn't say Labour's going to do much better at all in the Scottish elections than what they did the last time round.
yeah,
You know, and the seats they are predicted to pick up, they're picking them up for the Tories, not for the SNP.
yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no doubt that the target of the opportunity here, and this isn't even a Sarwar or Dougie Ross, they're not bright enough. Let's look at the calibre of the two guys. This is instructions coming from doing that road. You know,
Dross, he can spot offside. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? So that's it.
Jenny Goldruth is a Kezia Dugdale's partner, but I don't see where that makes any difference. The SNP's already left the centre.
That's maybe a minus point.
That's the big problem. That's the split that's in the party.
Yeah,
The left were quite happy to go along with the young team and what they wanted to do with gender and things like that and protect their rights. The old squad, they're still fighting. They've still got a bloody nose for what happened in Westminster with Mary Black and Stephen Flint,
right.
So there is problems within the party when it comes to unity. Could John unite the party? Probably better than the others. But if we're looking at trying to get a first minister in place, who's likely to carry the confidence of the MSPs that would be required to vote them into the position of first minister? Neil's too new as a minister, Jenny's, I really don't know. I'd need to look into it. Kate, we know she was a good finance minister, and as we know,
Yeah.
John is a damn fine administrator.
But at the end of the day, it's like there were a few negative points that people didn't like with Kate, and obviously that did stand against her. People would go, no,
Actually, but when she threw her hat in the ring last time, I was right into it until I
yeah,
heard the hustings.
yeah,
And I thought,
yeah.
no, thank you. And the same way with Ash Reagan, I just thought, no thanks.
Yeah.
You're just not ready for it.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. Can somebody that is a member of the Wee Frees carry off the position as First Minister of Scotland? Yes, absolutely. But they've got to be really a seriously old head to be able to do that.
Because you've
Yeah,
got to be able to keep your own religious nonsense out here.
correct. Absolutely.
But I'm not interested in the Wee Frees party. I'm more interested in their conservative point of views. The party's moved to the left. Kate hasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as I say, that's because I am to the left of centre, David. So are you. Kate's probably bang on the centre.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
If
Yeah.
no a wee bit right of it.
Yeah.
And that's shown in reviews when it came to you know, the GRR and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
As far as I'm concerned, David, cutting right across the whole thing, right? SNP, independence. That's it. End of story, right? See, once we've got independence, they'll maybe run for another term, and we'll have a look at them and see what they're doing, right? And if they're worth keeping on for another term, fine. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm hoping there are lots of other parties at that time that can come in and form maybe a coalition, same as the European parliaments. Yeah?
It's trying to get the people to understand that the whole point of this programme, 309 watching by the way, is for people to understand that what's happening right now goes all the way back to splits in the Yes movement, because this has been a bloody long campaign. And those splits all came from within the SNP because they were the only viable party of independence at the time. You and I know personally the people who put the cracks in the movement. We've campaigned hard with them, we've worked with them, we want to work with them again in the future. Because we know when a campaign comes along proper, they're just going to ditch all that shit, put your party political politics in your pocket and get your eyes on the prize.
Right, that's right.
You know?
But, no, but the thing is, though, David, consistently within the Yes family, we have found that we might have all our hearts pushing towards independence, but we know for a fact there is a good percentage of idiots that are going to kibosh the whole thing because they want it their way. And because they want it their way, they're prepared to ditch the whole bloody lot in order to do so.
Well, that's what was interesting about Lorna Slater and Patrick Harvey. They haven't thought about the bigger implications for the movement. They weren't interested in the implications for the movement. They've haunted the Unionists a victory. A victory. And a damn fine man and administrator is the victim of it.
But the thing is, though, you look at Lorna Slater, and she's got some brilliant ideas, right? But at the same time, there's lots of other stuff where she's holding us back. She's causing problems, right?
See, with Lorna surprised me because when Duncan Ross pulled the same stunt with her, the SNP rallied round her. That was after the deposit return scheme thing. I think we've already spoken about it.
Yes. But the thing about the you know, keeping certain areas of the seabed clear, and the fact of the matter is we had, was it haddock eggs?
Oh, mackerel
egg, and it's like it could be seen. It could be seen from bloody space, and that shows it. No, not but that shows you that the lass had the right idea. Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm talking about it is the Greens go where they are today on the back of, and you know me, David, I'm an astute observer of politics, right? So the Greens go where they are today on the back of the SNP's second vote. Can you think of another party that did something similar? Solidarity go to where they were in the Scottish Parliament because of similar interest to Labour, but a wee bit to the left of Labour, so they got elected on the Labour second vote, in the hope that we would shove the Labour Party back towards the left, sure. But when Solidarity got up in the Parliament, the Labour Party set about destroying Solidarity.
Yeah.
Because Solidarity was taking a bigger and bigger slice of their vote. And what's happening here is the Yes movement's taking a bigger and bigger slice of the vote. I mean, if you take this present administration, I mean, they called Humza the continuity candidate. Humza didn't have a fresh mandate for the people to do anything different, so he should not have diverged from the 2021 manifesto commitments.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he was delivering on them. You know, he was delivering on them. He was rolling out childcare. He was increasing the amount of primary children who were being fed. He did up the allowance to councils so that people can get uniforms, school uniforms and that if they couldn't afford them. You know, up to £275 a year. You can clothe a child for that for a year. You know, basically. Especially when you're buying uniforms at tenner for 2 polo shirts, a sweatshirt, and 2 pair of trousers or 2 skirts. I mean, that's what you get in the supermarket for. So, I mean, he was carrying out the 2019 manifesto. He did diverge it for a few places, and he deserved his knuckles wrapped for that. But that was the Green influence. Same thing happened with Nicola during the Butte House agreement. You've got to remember that when you go into coalition, then you have to wriggle round about your manifesto because you've got to accommodate 2 parties at that point. You see, but what the Greens tend to forget is they are where they are today on the back of the SNP second vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that SNP second vote going to go their way now?
Don't think so.
Well, that will depend on how it goes if Labour table this motion of no confidence to the Scottish Government.
Yeah.
If the Greens vote with them then. And another interesting fact that's come out, folks, which is interesting because we've been talking about Labour and Tory being the one party here in Scotland for a long time. Well, we can now throw in the Lib Dems because when it comes to putting forward a candidate for First Minister to go up against whoever the SNP odds, they're talking about a coalition. Now, let's say they put up the Alpha Party's leader. And the Tories, the Lib Dems, and Labour get behind them.
I see it, but anyway, there you
go. These are all possibilities because of the way the system's set up. You know, I mean, I've been looking at the Scotland Act because of this situation, David. As you know, that's the first place I'm going to bloody go. I'm going to have a look at the rules of the game here.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the Alex Salmond, when he got into Westminster, right? The reason why he was so damn successful is because he knew the rule book better than anybody else in that building. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, also, the person that knows the Scotland Act backside foremost is going to do bloody well within Holyrood, right?
Because what people don't understand is, if you want to know what Holyrood's actual standing orders are, and the rules for making standing orders for Holyrood and all that, the guidance is all contained within the Scotland Act.
Yeah.
In fact, do you know, I'll make it easy for you all, folks. I'll stick it in the comments, sir.
Aye.
I'll stick the Scotland Act in the comments.
Well, there is the Scotland Act, and also there is another Scotland Act, which is the 2016 one. Yeah.
Aye, but David, they're only updates to the original.
I know, but you're still going to take them into account. You know what I mean?
Let me leave it here. The copy I'm about to put up, right? I'll stick this up for the sake of everybody getting to understand this. All right? Share.
I'll tell you what.
Let me bring it up and let you read this, pal. Okay.
Let's just keep the show running for the next 6 hours, and we'll just explain every single bit of the story.
The Scotland Act 1998 is up to date with all changes known to be in force on or before April 24. These are changes that may be brought into there are changes that may be brought to the Act in future, right? So basically, the copy I'm going to stick in the comments is the up-to-date copy of the Scotland Act, all right? Just so that everybody knows. Now, folks, I keep telling people to read this stuff, so I'm going to batter this in the comments. I did say I was going to put it in the comments at the end of the last programme. I didn't, but I'll put it into the comments at the end of this show on YouTube, all right? I've already stuck this up in my timeline umpteen times. The Scotland Act, folks. Use on Facebook. I'll stick it in the comments on Facebook, you know. Right, the Scotland Act is now up in the Facebook comments as well. I should have put this up for you all a long time ago. Anyway, the rules of
No,
the
the thing
game.
is, David, it's you have to admit, unless you are a political anorak, you're going to fall asleep, even just getting through the first bit of it, or even finding your way into it. You know what I mean? So,
Well,
bloody
it comes in different sections, David, and the sections go
yeah.
on for a fucking hour. As you and I both know, of course. But as I say, the whole point of which the actions that are being taken at the moment, as I say, there is a history to it. There is a timeline to it. We know how it came about.
Yeah, it was gerrymandered by the Labour Party in order to ensure that SNP were stuck with a mess every time they had to use a damn thing. Yeah,
Well, as I say, the Scotland Act,
yeah.
that's exactly what it was designed for, David.
It's-
But the reason why we are where we are today, David, is
yeah.
because of indiscipline within the Yes movement.
Yeah,
Party politics, because it's been such a long campaign, party politics has risen to the fore.
yeah. Well, the most important thing is don't get angry about it. There's no point. We are where we are. You know.
What we
So it's
need to
hard,
do,
guys.
folks, what we
Mm,
need to do is keep our eyes on the prize, and when it comes to
mm.
this fucking general election, we need to send a whopping majority of SNP MPs down that road
Yeah,
to deliver the message.
yeah.
Section 30 order now, or we're going to use a Scottish election.
Yeah.
Because that's the sort of place where that thing's going to be announced. And the reason why they can announce it is because the Supreme Court, and let's make this quite clear, David, the Supreme Court has set a limitation on the sovereignty of Westminster. It said when it came to a vote on Scottish independence, Westminster could decide when and how, because they had to issue a Section 30 order because of the Scotland Act, right? It's Westminster legislation. But what the Supreme Court also pointed out was there's power at the ballot box. In other words, it doesn't have to be Westminster's ballot box you're voting on.
Yeah.
And because we have two legitimised systems, and the people of Scotland are sovereign, we've made the route map clear to them. So everything that's going on right now, the demonising of Humza Yousaf for day one, the wrecking of Alec and Nicola's careers, this is all specific to derail this movement. And this movement has been making it easy. But that's because it's been such a long campaign. I mean, we thought the 2-year campaign from 12 to 20 to 14 was long. The campaign to get to the next one's 10 years. We're a decade into it, David, or something like that. A decade into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's allowed the discipline within the movement to break down. The people you and I have studied these quests for independence, we've seen how these things happen. You know, we've seen what happened with the snap second independence vote in Quebec. We've seen what was going on with the Catalonian movement, the Walloon movement, and movements right across Europe, actually. You know, and then we've seen them when the movements have been successful, like the Velvet Divorce, the breakup of Czechoslovakia. You know, so there you go. But as I say, the whole point to remember here, the way the Holmes is a good administrator and a good man has been demonised here in Scotland, and he has been a successful administrator. He has been quite a good First Minister. As I say, when we talk about how he handled public relations with the public sector, unbelievable.
And also how he handled getting into office while all the stuff with Nicola Sturgeon was happening. You
Yeah,
know, I think the guy was amazing how he handled that. Most other people would have crumpled under that kind of pressure.
as I
Yeah,
say, I mean, good leader, good man. As
yeah.
I say, but this all comes to the fact that this campaign's been on for so bloody long.
Mm-hmm.
And the noise get even louder and the cracks get even wider when in 2017 Nicola won the mandate, asked for Section 30, and Theresa May said now is not the time. And then, of course, we ended up in the Supreme Court where we were told Westminster's going to issue a Section 30 order because that's Westminster's legislation. The 1998 Scotland Act, the rules of engagement. All right. But as I say, we are where we are because they're shaking themselves. We've laid down a route map for how we're going to do things, and that scared them. At first, they really get rattled when Humza says, majority MPs, I'm calling it. And it was MPs that put a stop to him doing it that way.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. It was MPs who watered down his Dundee declaration. And things seem to have went downhill for there. The attacks on him in the media, portraying him as a First Minister of Palestine because he was the only politician in these islands showing fucking compassion at the time.
He was the only politician in these islands that actually spoke for the people. That's it. You know, because the majority of the people were looking at this and going, why is our UK government sending boats to shoot at, you know, people that were trying to help the people of Gaza? You know,
as I say, we have to keep in the forefront of our mind what this is all about. This is about fear. I mean, the opinion polls here repeatedly showing that independence is now the favoured choice of the Scottish people. But if they don't have a vehicle to get them there, that'll do for Westminster. Go ahead, David. Just go to the radio there.
I open this box up a bit.
Sorry about that. You know, I mean, this is all about trying to prevent us from getting out of the line. Now, you know, this is about...
David, I do think that this is one situation where really geopolitics, the Israel and America and all the rest of it, right? This is really going to have a huge effect on the general election. Really, I can see it having a massive effect on the general election because there are people in England, especially, that are just going to go, nah, I don't want anything to do with that lot in Westminster. Yeah.
Aye.
They acted in a way that's against humanity. You know, we're not talking about acted against my tax rights or whatever. Acted against humanity.
Aye. As I say, but we are where we are.
Yeah.
We've spoken about how we go here. We've spoken about the process of how we go forward.
But the thing is, though, do you not see some kind of route, some inkling of a wee spark of light reference this geopolitical mess where Humza did actually speak for the people of the UK?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so therefore, if we've got somebody that spoke for the people of the UK, is there not some kind of a political route that can be taken to effectively put Humza Yousaf back in a very powerful position?
Well, he can throw his hat in the ring to the back bench.
Yeah, okay.
Next First Minister might really stick up their nose and appoint him as deputy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
That would be interesting. Go for it.
That would be interesting. But as I say, we know how we go here. We know we know what the procedure is going forward. Now, when it comes to chinks of light, the only one, this can set the movement back by a decade or two, David. There's no doubt about it. That's all down to how people vote in this general election. Now, we have to send a majority, and I mean a reasonable size majority, at least 37 MPs down that road.
Yeah, okay.
To be able to command the majority in the Scottish Grand Committee and be able to tell Westminster, by the way,
I assure you, not impossible.
No, as I say, that is the one. There could well be a backlash here, but it could go the other way. It could well be that the press amplifying a turmoil, which isn't really a turmoil, it's just a change of guard. It's been going on for a while now.
Yeah.
We've seen the way they tried to portray the change of guard at Westminster. SNP and meltdown, internal party strife, we're still getting the same stuff.
But the thing is, though, It's like, no, but that's the headlines. And these people are seeing these headlines on the newsstand every single day or every week, right? And yet it doesn't happen. It's like, the sun is about to explode.
Well, many times they've been saying the SNP's imploding since Alex Salmond.
Yeah.
This is just another SNP implosion, apparently. Except for this time, apparently, it and independence is deed. I'm sure that's what he said the last time around. And the time before that.
And the oil's ran out.
A couple of times.
They must think, seriously, they must think that our heads button up the back. Yeah?
They did. The way they report, I mean, Alex Cole-Hamilton today, the way he's reporting things. It's definitely no your living experience of public services in Scotland. It's not my living experience of public services in Scotland. But when you get this tribe pumped into our houses 24 hours a day, that's why I was talking about the BBC being bad for your mental health. Remember, I gave a whole speech about it outside the front of the BBC. I think they shit themselves with it. Everybody's expecting you up to talk about how bad the report was. I'll talk about how it was bad for our nation's mental health, the BBC. The constant negativity. You're shite, this is shite, it's all shite, Scotland shite. Wow, that's pumped into your house 24 hours a day. That's why I switched mine off and haven't switched the fucker back on again.
Honestly, I think the way you put that there is quite lovely.
I've got away with words sometimes, David.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, that was the special on where we are, or how we got here, and what the route forward is. We'll see who gets elected as the new SNP leader, and we'll see if the Parliament accepts that person as leader. We'll also see whether Labour continue with this threat of vote of no confidence in the Scottish Government. I'm quite up for a Scottish election right now. I don't think they are. And I don't think Starmer would be chuffed. For all his funny fingerprints are all over this one, I think he'll be the one to tell this is the time to step back for the precipice, boy, because it's my hour in the sunlight, not yours. The last thing Labour wanted in a Scottish general election ahead of an English general election, that would be fucking outrageous. Starmer would not want that.
Seriously, Sawa must be crying himself to sleep every night. Seriously, all this week, Sawa will be crying himself to sleep every single night.
With a brave face in the fucking public.
Yeah.
So, let's say, we are where we are, folks. As I say, depending on the outcome of this general election, and we've all got to keep this in the forefront of our mind. Everything that's going on and every stunt being played by the press, that includes the way they demonise Mr. Yusuf Uri's compassion for the people of Gaza. I mean, we've seen what happened with Sadiq Khan doing that road with his right-wing nutters. He's Hondi Doer, London to his Muslim extremist friends. We've had that in the press here and all. Based on whom's humanitarian views on Gaza. Mental. But as I say, we are where we are. This whole thing, where we are, we go there by ourselves. The reason why the opportunism has stepped in now is to damage the SNP's Westminster opportunities. The reason why is they are desperate to stop an SNP majority of MPs going down that road again.
What's the worst case scenario? Just before we go, what are we talking about? What is actually in their minds? What's their worst case scenario? Their worst case scenario is that the SNP do declare independence, right? They're worried that the SNP then take Scotland forward and do something with Scotland that the people in England would be jealous of.
They're already they're already trying to prevent the people of England knowing the fact that Scotland isn't a shithole. The fact that we've got less poverty, higher prosperity, smarter, more university educated people per capita population. We're more productive. We export more. We hold all the natural resources. We have a fantastic social contract with our government. That's what they're trying to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the people of England could see it and understand that they're no paying for it, it's our six-band tax system that pays for it, maybe they would demand it for themselves.
Yep. There you go.
The SNP in the Scottish Parliament has already made Scotland a far superior place to be. And we know that because rather than people fleeing as we've redesigned the tax system, they're coming. As we know, we spoke about it in the last programme, David. Right, anyway, that's us on the 3 o'clock mark, David.
Guys, understand this. It's not the end of the world. It's just keep your eyes on the prize, keep your eyes on what's going on, and let's just keep positive. That's most important. All right. Right. If you like what we do, give us a like. If you haven't done so before, please subscribe to the channel.
Please, because for some reason we managed to lose 200 subscribers. Maybe I went up a dinger or something.
Literally within hours. Don't know why. Yeah, but it did happen, right? So we need people to subscribe to the channel, right? And we put a lot of time and effort. Even me in my hospital bed, we put a lot of time and effort into making this work. So thanks for supporting us. Thanks for coming here to listen to two old guys. Yeah.
I can't wait. Listen, David, I can't wait Wednesday.
Go on then. Why is that?
A day off, I'm going to get Legos and all.
Listen to he's horrible to me. He is, honestly. It's like I'm
Listen, you're the
going
first
to
one
write
to
a
join
card
up.
and say, help me.
Your first time here. You will be subscribing and thank you very much. Right, anyway. Eyes on the prize, folks. Remember what this is all about. This is all about derailing the independence movement, especially as the recent polls have really shown strength. What the Greens thought they were playing up, I have absolutely no idea. When they said that they would support this vote of no confidence in the First Minister, I don't know how he sacked him. It didn't sound like he went about it very well, though. It was a case of come into the office, used to piss off your fire, or was he a wee bit more subtle about it? I don't know, but it certainly upset a few. Yeah, but never mind. They were about to do the same thing themselves.
Right then.
The real hope in this whole situation is that we still have the opportunity to keep the pressure on by electing the maximum amount of SNP MPs we can. Let's make this small unionist victory what they call a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah, Pyrrhic. That's PYRIC, I think it is, yeah. Or it's PHYRIC. Yeah.
That's the very one.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, I just lose something. One thing left to do, David.
Bye, Davey. Bye, guys.
Oh, share across your social media, folks. And viewing for this one, at its highest peak was 356. At the moment, just as we wrap up, 316. No bad. Thanks, folks. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Davey.
Bye, Davey.